Calc 1.
That's all I needed, and I sucked at it.
You didn't do any integrals, just derivatives?
Nope.
I can't believe that I got farther into Calc.
Oh my gosh.
That's-
Did you do Calc 2?
I did Calc 3.
Okay.
Yo, I thought I was a fucking nerd, dude. This is so much worse.
Yeah, well, I did
so.
Calc 0.
Why is
So
Twitch
And you know
You guys know that calc is short for calculator? Just like
asked for Finnish crime drama?
What?
What is Arctic Circle?
I don't
What?
know.
What are you
That's
talking
a
about?
food place.
Twitch fed me an ad that was in but a Finnish TV show called Arctic Circle.
I
Okay.
think it's a
Whatever.
place and like a fast food thing.
Well, this was a crime drama apparently, but
Oh.
let's get the show on the road.
Speaking of crime, drama, and nerds, hello everybody. Welcome to D&D. I've got all 6 of these wonderful, beautiful idiots with me today to somehow try and decipher my even more idiotic world. I welcome you to 5th edition D&D Usapait. My name is JC, or Jacob, and I'll be your dungeon master for tonight. And the 6 people who join me are Cody, Zen, Helminia, James, Alpha, and Jazz, each playing their respective characters in this world. If this is your first time watching the stream, thank you so much. Happy to have you here. If this is not your first time watching the stream, thank you so much. Welcome back. If you're watching on the Twitch side, happy to have you live. And if you're watching the rerun on YouTube, thanks for keeping the archive up and chugging. But regardless, either one that you're watching on, make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe. We would be playing this game regardless if there were people watching us, but you supporting makes us know that you enjoy it as well. Other than that, I don't think there is too much to do or say. I think the last thing that kind of popped into my head is just a open warning about 2 weeks from now, on the 26th of June, there will not be a session. Due to it, not because any of us necessarily can't be there, except for me, and apparently that causes a problem. We've been able to have one player be gone for quite a few sessions, but apparently when it's the guy in the middle, it sucks. But just to give proper congratulations, I get to have the pleasure of having a sister get married, and I'm going down to celebrate with her, and so there will be no D&D that week. I'll remind you guys next week as well, but that's the only kind of last little announcement out of the way. And with that, it's just time for us to jump straight into some D&D Usapait. Where we last left off, the group is split into 3, we'll call it 3.5 parts, because some people split up after the split up. But 3 major groups, 2 of them being down in the underbelly of Alinar Orn, and 1 group heading back topside. The 2 in the bottom that kind of split separate ways were Ophelia and Aelin, as well as and Valdin. The and Valdin both walked around the market, saw each other, discussed the job and what comes next, and then decided to pick up half a barrel of seasoned cooked meat and have hatched a plan to go back into the sewers, where they all have suspicions of kobolds being present. We don't quite know what they're planning, but we'll find out. The other group below went over to another section, as the underground itself is still divided into 3 separate regions. between the Chainbringer, the Breakers, and the Mistress. Heading into the Mistress's domain, they went into the Lather House and tried to exchange information with the people who were serving them, and might have a new path opened for the group, or at least themselves. Finally, the two that went up above, Glairun had stepped into his room to kind of clean up for the evening, but Yoi had headed straight out into the dining area, where it appears to be that a lot of the soldiers who had been seen coming into the town through the southern entrance were getting rooms for the night and getting drinks and food. Most of them were, at the very least, some level of joyous, but what caught Yoi's eye was one soldier who was more reminiscing. From his voice, she recognized that he was the one prowling through the sewers, nearly catching the group in the act of scouting it out for the underground. She talked to him a bit over some wine, and as she kind of contemplated what this sergeant was attempting to do, as he stated that he was not, even though he was trying to kind of brush off the accolades and tales people were beginning to tell about him, he was just trying to get the city safe, and he did believe the city was under some kind of danger. Yoi decided to kind of take a breath and take a walk out into the evening to check both of the sewer entrances, with one of them being basically empty of any people or devoid of any action. Walking over to the one that she suspected Glairun had gotten pulled out of, she did in fact see something happening, where there were a bunch of guards piling up arcane resources near the entrance of the sewer. Suddenly, a fireball burst outward that had been set up as a trap, engulfing both the guards and the inquisitor that was among them in flames. However, he was able to step out of the flames seemingly unscathed, as a lightning arrow bolt went through his eye, seemingly taking him out. However, as a bounty hunter, the one that Yoi had actually recognized from a group that had been given that crossbow by Adler, began to approach, she decided to take matters into her own hands and attacked him. Distracting him for a round seemed to be enough, well, even though the assassin brought her down to the ground, a silhouette appeared behind him and cleaved him in half, that being the Inquisitor taking it upon himself to enact righteous justice. He managed to get her back to a standing state, telling her that he was grateful for the assistance and that she had earned a walk back to the inn. And that's where we will pick up. Why not pick back up where we left? Yoi, you had...
Present.
Present. He had kind of extended his hand out to you to help walk you back, and as you had kind of taken it, you had requested a recounting of himself to you. And as you both start to kind of make your way down the street, you can even see the kind of fire beginning to kind of set itself aside that had originally happened and caught on the side of the buildings from that fireball. Even as it begins to subside, you can hear people kind of beginning to rush over from it from the opposite direction. The Inquisitor seems to pay little mind as he begins to walk northward towards where the fresh flask is, without any sort of directions from you. You just having mentioned the fresh flask in your first interaction with him, seems to know where to go. As he begins to make his way northward, the kind of background of kind of beginning chaos of people trying to address the fire, you hear his voice kind of play over everything else. There are a lot of stories in one man's life. What particular genre are you interested in on our walk back?
Tell me about your coming into your current position.
Well, there's plenty of dressing to that story, but the meat of it is quite frail, I must say, as there was never any doubt that someone like me would rise to the occasion to serve one's nation. I was inducted in the city of Forbel as a seeker of justice for the northern region, and as such had been given, well, let's say, with the title did not come the abilities or power. That is all supplied through the grace of God. However, it gave me the means to seek justice, not only in the fair city, which inducted me in the first place, but all over, first the northern region, and now the nation as a whole. The inquisitors are not merely trained, they are found. As such, I was one found individual.
How long ago were you inducted? And you said you were inducted in Forbel?
Yes, the fabulous jewel of the continent. No better place to see me rise to the inquisitorial tasks. I'd say this happened not but a few years as I've been dutifully serving since then. If I can recall accurately, this would be cresting upon half a decade.
Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Yoy being from Forbel, and him being inducted as an inquisitor in Forbel would have probably been a pretty big deal, right?
There are not that many inquisitors. Would you like to roll a history check to see if you remember?
Yeah. Natural 20. First roll of the night.
Nice.
Woo.
So, you were never particularly interested in the Inquisitors, in those enforcing law. However, with important events like this, with important people needing to go certain places and do certain things, and someone of your talents, especially your guild's talents, you do remember when important events happen by how much traffic your guild hall gets. And during about that kind of 5 years ago, there were many people pouring into Forbel, many orders kind of coming for custom tailored pieces, suits, dresses, all of that, as it is an incredibly important meeting, important get together, almost treated like I would say, like an induction of a political, of a high, political person. the Inquisitors themselves hold about the same amount of sway as a Lord does, except that power transfers over cities. They speak on the same playing field as a Lord. And as such, whenever a Lord of a town gets, I guess, elected, inducted, people take notice. And so, yes, you would remember, especially in the capital city of Forbel, formalities kind of get blown out of proportion a little bit. And you do remember there being not necessarily like a parade or anything, but those of higher class and wanting to network had definitely come through, ordered some things from your guild hall. Is there any sort of kind of extra little nugget that you're trying to get out of this history check? Any piece of information about him?
I'm just trying to figure out if what he's saying is ringing true, I suppose.
I would,
just because.
Yeah, I'd be willing to say you do know that he is inducted. He is in fact an inquisitor, or at the very at the very least, you do know that from your knowledge of inquisitors. You're not exactly like keeping tabs on them, but you do in fact remember inquisitor. There was an induction of an inquisitor, matching when he said he was inducted in Forbel.
Okay. In that case, Yoi will look at the this inquisitor. You never told me your name.
I suppose it's only fair. People refer to me mostly as Inquisitor, of course, but you may refer to me, or dare I say even just call me, Creed. Inquisitor Creed is my full title.
Well, Creed, I am from Forbel. Do you visit often?
Do I return back to the capital often? Oh, before I was pulled away to Alinar Orin, I was there, in fact. And then called away down to the edge of the northern region, simply to assist to the best of my ability. Yes, Forbel is where I make my roost most days.
I see. Change of story. If you'll humor me, what brought you down this way?
As you see him kind of like, he's still a very like imposing figure, no matter how much as he kind of looks at you, he kind of has that kind of warm, soft smile and the kind of like the friendly seeming eyes that he has. The look that he gives you does in fact put like a quick shiver down your spine. Unfortunately, I had heard news of terrible individuals residing in this city, and alas, I got here but a couple hours, it seems, too late to properly address the terrible individuals who'd taken advantage of the Lord's estate, and whoever might be weighing on these poor soldiers' minds, within or below the city. Fear not, though. They will be a minor trifle once I get my hands on them. They will be brought to justice, and the town will be restored into its expected balance.
That's quite a promise.
Oh.
What kind of individuals?
Well, we had already identified one of them. Unfortunately, a internal agent was identified in the Lord's company, and they were swiftly brought to justice, but there are rumors that there were more than just one acting alone. And if that is true, then there are still people with blood on their hands, possibly even walking the streets right now. And that is something that cannot stand. Rumored.
Is he on? Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Pause. Is he telling the truth right now? Is that really why he was brought down here? Because he showed up before we got here, I thought.
Yeah. Please make a insight check.
19.
19. Even and especially with you catching the part that doesn't add up yourself, gotta give you congratulations right there.
Thanks.
Yeah, no. In the part of the story that does not add up, in fact, does not add up. Of Glaeren had told you that inquisitors had been here before the Lord debacle that the group caused. And so just something to keep in mind is that does not ring truthful. You've done some sleuthing. But no worry how many there are, or even if their numbers are growing with what they believe they've gotten away with, they'll be swiftly brought to their knees and the judgment of Torm.
I see, so you must not have been here very long then, considering the stuff with the Lord's home. I'm pretty sure that was when I first met you, yes?
Yes, you did in fact catch me early on in my investigations.
And have you been here before?
Been to the border city. Of course, the Grand Library is a boon to all of us. But, alas, I do prefer to spend my days in fairer lands farther north.
Sounds enchanting.
Oh, you know the capital cities. You know of the beauty of it just as well as I do. There's no enchanting mystery about the allure of the northern region. Puts the rest of the nation to shame, I might dare say. But, alas, there comes the cruelty of the world. There's simply not enough room for everyone to experience the majesty like we have the opportunity.
About how far away are we from Fresh Flask right now?
If you wanted to speed up, you could be able to cut the conversation short.
Not necessarily. I was just
I wasn't sure if it was like a timed, like, hey, you have this many conversations you can have before you reach the fresh flask.
No, he's not necessarily even hurrying to get you anywhere. You have the questions unless if you run out of things to ask or get uncomfortable with something he asks you in turn. It's open for you.
Questions?
If you ask some things, he might. You don't know.
So, I'm trying to think here. I had a question, and then I asked my question to you, and then I lost the question. I'm stacking questions. Have you been to the Fresh Flask before? I ran into your troops there. Had a drink with a couple of them.
Make no mistake, the inquisitors and the military are separate beings. We just borrow from them from time to time. Have in fact stopped by to ask a couple quick questions to those I know have answers, but no, I'm not staying there for any long period of time, if that's what you're asking.
I suppose I'm just a little shocked because I don't remember reminding you where I had been staying.
Do you expect me to have a lackluster memory?
Maybe. You are just a man.
The wound that breaks through my steelish persona now. You hurt me. I am required to be more due to my station. Please do not think less of me just because I simply need to walk alongside. Everyone is capable of greatness. I've just simply gotten there first.
So before you were an inquisitor, what were you doing? If anything.
Well, I was simply doing what the god wished of me. I've been placed here for simple missions, things that Torm knew I could accomplish, whether they be mighty or just convenient for him to have me be his vessel. And as such, I was doing much the same thing I'm doing now. It's just now everyone knows that I'm doing it.
Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be kind of a dumb question. Did he say that he was the vessel of his god?
Vessel.
Or he was working towards being the vessel of his god?
Vessel was a word he used. Basically, what he was saying, and you're free to interpret his flowery language however you wish.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically has said that he's basically telling you he's been a servant of his god and doing tasks for them, whether they are large imposing tasks that of course they're sending me to do it because who else could, or if they're simple tasks that I'm the closest person to be there in his name. He did use the word vessel though.
And did he mean that literally? Or just as like a...
Do you want to make an insight check?
Yeah. A little less, a little less.
A little less.
16.
As your ears, not enough for maybe him to notice, but enough for the kind of camera for the scene at this point to pick up. Your ears sort of twitch at the mention of the word vessel, and you kind of look over at him trying to determine if anything deeper is meant by that. But as he continues walking, kind of looks over at you as though if there's another question expected of him. You realize you're not sure whether that was meant literally or as part of his soliloquy.
Guess we'll push a little bit. Well, are you a vessel?
Well, some would relish the opportunity to label me as such. I am simply, in my own words, his mouthpiece, his sword, and his shield for others. If you're asking whether my actions are my god's or my own, I will say I attempt to imitate my god's actions as much as I can. Does he tell me where my sword should strike? Absolutely. But it is my hand that moves the blade.
I see. All right.
Are you suddenly worried that you were talking to a piece of a god?
Maybe.
I'll make sure I remember that I can have that effect on people. Thank you for the
come on,
warning.
then. Oh, how wounded that makes me. That you would use that against other people. I thought that was our own thing.
Well, I can give you the prestigious title of the first who considered. You can wear it as a badge forevermore. However, I will not be able to stop other prying eyes from noticing if I continue to do my work well and true.
You really think you are the best, don't you?
Well, it's hard to not think something when you know it. If you
Care to
have
put your
ways to test or know, by all means. Many nobles and many other inquisitors have tried. Any test you put before can be surpassed through the will of the god I serve. Courage and self-sacrifice is what propels us forward on this life. And as such, I have limitless amounts of it.
You can't think of a single test that you couldn't pass?
Of course I can. Otherwise I couldn't do anything.
Even a little friendly competition.
Now, how friendly is this competition getting? I sense a bit
Sure,
of...
I could outdrink you.
And here I was afraid that the competition would be uncouth. Outdrink me, you say?
Uncouth?
Oh, well, people try to take advantage of those willing to prove themselves. And as such, I have only met you twice. I assumed you're better than that, but one must always be firm in their stance.
I'm offended that you think that I am not made of manners. In fact, I've only met you twice, no matter if you think you are the best.
You bring upon us a fair point. As such, as an apology, I'll be happy to accept that challenge which you have provided.
I'll even let you pick the beverage.
Very well.
That's all I could think about.
Absolutely. No, very well. As you two turn the corner, you can see the building of the Fresh Flask. The two of you kind of step over to it. We're going to wind back for a moment, staying on the surface for a bit, with after Yoi had stepped out for her evening stroll. Her very eventful evening stroll. Glayron, you had arrived, stated that you needed to head to your room for a moment. And Yoi, assuming you had gone to bed for the night, as that was what all of the groups had exclaimed, assumed that you were just heading off to bed. Instead of falling asleep, you simply moved out of your armor, kind of cleaned yourself up, and intended to head back out to the dining area to, well, get yourself some dinner. You know that it's easy enough to see that there are plenty of soldiers taking up the dining area. But the floor is yours. If you want to exit your room, you're more than welcome to.
Absolutely. I'm going to exit my room and make my way over to the bar. When I get in there, I want to... Would it be possible to see if I recognize any of these soldiers from the group of Northern Third that made their way back in when we met Valdon?
As you kind of like peer through and looking at them, there are a couple of them that kind of just look familiar. You in fact can see from the armor that is like, some of them have bits of their like shoulder padding like draped over. You can see some cloaks kind of balled up under chairs, and you can see from different patches all the soldiers in here are members of the Northern Third. With them all kind of having some muted conversations, you're able to kind of move about as you wish.
Okay. Is there a table with like 2 or 3 of these guys at it? That I could maybe like grab a group of mugs of ales from the bar and bring them over?
There's a couple. 2 of them that are in fact soldiers, kind of sitting and kind of leaning back, having a conversation. There's one with a guard, a town guard, actually kind of like slightly over the shoulder, like kind of like doing that like football team member, like pat on the side of the chest of like a good job done to a man that kind of has his helmet resting in his lap, and you can see like 2 empty glasses of wine already on the table, and then most of the other tables have like groups of them kind of squatted together. A couple people that are townspeople mixed in, but I would say the percentage of soldiers / town's guard to just normal tavern goers is extremely biased towards the army, probably being about like 85% stacked in the army direction. Most people here are of the military.
Okay. Cool. I will grab. You said there were 2 of them at that table that still had seats open?
There are 2 tables that fit your description that I called out. One of them are 2 army men. One of them's kind of leaning back on the table. You can see the 2 legs kind of pricked off the back of it with his feet up on it. Another one kind of leaning forward, his kind of pointer finger going up the side of his face. They're kind of having a conversation. And then there's the other table where it's a soldier sitting at the table with a town guard kind of over his shoulder talking to him, almost as if like a hype squad or like a congratulatory thing. And you can see empty wine glasses on the table. Those are the 2 tables that kind of fit your description.
All right, I'm just gonna roll a d20 and go odds or evens then. Wine glasses.
Wine glasses. Alrighty.
So I'll run over and grab 3 mugs of, I don't know, what ale did we get last time?
I mean, I think you guys were just getting like general cheap ale. I don't think any brand was taken, but yeah, you're able to get some easy to drink 1 copper a piece ales. It's all good.
Okay. I'll make my way on over there.
You kind of make your way over, and you can just kind of hear the town guard talking to the man as you approach. The soldier's actually kind of quite quiet, but you can hear the guard actually being a little bit loud as you kind of approaches. I tell you, you just radiate the things that are needed. You're not making any more sense than you did when we started the night. You're actually making less. That doesn't matter. You're the man of the tavern. You are the hero. You help them. I've helped enough for tonight. You need to. And he kind of like grabs and pulls his shoulder and kind of like sits him down in the chair. The man, already kind of off balance, kind of like shudders for a moment. As you kind of approach, you can see his kind of like hazy eyes kind of look up at you and goes, "Hey, hero, you're magneting another one." The guy kind of shakes his head. "Good evening to you."
Good evening. It definitely sounds like I'm bringing congratulatory drinks to the right table. I'll set the mugs down and slide 1 to each of them.
I appreciate it. You don't have to actually get over a DC 5 for this, James. History or insight, your choice.
History or insight? We're gonna do history. Not 20.
The sigh of the voice is very easy to pin, even though it's not having that kind of like rhythmic reverb through the armor that it did down in the sewers. The soldier that you are talking to and handing the mug to is the soldier that had escorted you out from underneath.
Okay.
As you hand him the mug and he takes it.
Okay.
I would ask for his for the greater good and his well-being rolled into one, I see that you have another one for the table. Don't hand it to this gentleman. But this the entire point of me sticking around you is because you bring people with gifts, and you've had too many gifts tonight. It is appreciated, though. We've had our fill.
If you say so. Realizing that this is the same guy, I do want to try and, like, change my cadence of speaking just a little bit.
Sure. Make a performance check for me.
14.
All right.
Okay, now do it in real life. Do it right now. What accent are you putting on? Let me see what you got.
I don't do accents. I'm very bad at them.
Change your cadence. Go on. Do anything. How would you disguise yourself? What do you have?
I can see the
No.
the like pull up of the shoulders that always happens when
Run
someone's trying to
run
run an
again.
accent.
What do we have? This is all I'm gonna get to do tonight. You gotta be patient with me. I'm not gonna get to say anything else.
The
You ready
fucking
to break out that Italian? What do you got?
Fuck that. I'm just gonna try and
Lasagna.
get more air. That'll be fine.
the
You got
fucking
Italian? What do you got? Country? Howdy y'all?
howdy.
You keep talking, I'm not gonna be able to prepare myself enough to fucking do anything.
Have fun, RP and the rest of this.
Uh-huh.
You're
Thanks so
welcome, chat.
much. Fuck, now I don't even remember where the hell in the conversation we were. Told me not to give him any more drinks. Well, even if that's the case, I suppose I would pose a question to y'all. It seems as though you're part of the Northern Third, am I correct?
Yes, that would be correct. I had to fix something. That would be correct. We're not exactly hard to pick out of a crowd.
No, I suppose not. Well, I saw y'all come in from the southern gate, but was it just yesterday? Maybe 2 days ago. And you all seemed so disheartened. If you don't mind me asking, what happened down there?
Well, you have to understand. There's a risk to anyone who goes past the northern region. That's not true. We were asked to go on to a patrol, and it went badly. I believe that's all we should be permitted to say. We suffered some losses, and that is more than enough reason to be downtrodden. Losing your fellow man is more than enough reason.
Understandable.
But they kicked all the way back, and are here to reap the rewards. We pulled back to Alinar Orin to secure the northern border, making sure that the northern region doesn't suffer anything that the other regions are already most likely deep in.
I see. How has that been going since you all arrived back in town here?
Well, I can't say people are going to exactly tell a military man that they're unhappy they're here. People have been as respectful as they need to be to us, but I don't expect that people will want us here for too much longer. However, as long as either the Lord or someone of equal stature wants us here, we will... The Northern Third will remain steadfast. Make sure that all of you in Alinar Orin remain protected.
Well, I definitely appreciate it.
Of course.
Though I can't imagine what would be a threat to a city of this size.
There's nothing that's a threat to the city like Alinar Orin. It's just them trying to get more medals. We're just here to protect. That's all you need to know.
Alright, well, I appreciate the talk. Do either of you two dice?
The soldier kind of like cocks his head at you, like inquisitively, and the guard's like, I think I found some wrapping around me. I only have a personal set. I don't hand out. I'm sorry, I don't know what's gotten into him. Did you want to run a game of dice with the guardsmen?
I don't know. I mean, out of character here. To me, I cannot imagine that a large group of soldiers who just had what I'm assuming is a hellish walk back up from the south wouldn't want to blow off some steam drinking and gambling in taverns around town.
And ironically, the guard seems to be the one more into it. Like, the sergeant is happily accepting the drink, but he, off of the question and his response to it, he does not appear to be the gambling type. Out of this, the sergeant that you had gone up to and recognized as the one who pulled you out of the one who you had talked to and been out of the sewers. The other ones are more fitting that stereotype of people having that kind of, like, just not joyous, but like more upbeat or more of just like a casual spirit amongst them. He seemed to be thinking and trying to push off the guard when you had approached. And so you have stumbled upon possibly the single soldier who is reflecting on something in the inn.
Okay. Well, I'll be right back. I'm going to go and see if the bar up there maybe has some bar dice that we can use. Talking to the other guard.
I hope you enjoy losing. And you kind of begin to make your way up to the edge of the bar. Are you actually inquiring about this, or is there something else to do?
No, I'm actually inquiring about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fresh Flask has some to provide. That was something known.
Perfect. Do they have, like, dice to borrow, or do I have to buy a set?
There's either.
I'll just buy a set, that's fine. Whatever their, like, run-of-the-mill basic set of dice that they have is.
Okay. the man.
How much is that gonna run me?
Let me see. 1 silver.
1 silver? Okay, cool. Easy peasy.
Okay.
Okay, pass over the silver and make my way back up over to the table.
Absolutely. As you go, you're able to kind of, we can quickly run through a bit of, are you trying to figure out something while this betting is happening, or are you just wanting to run through and see if you can get some gold?
I am intending to talk to these guys while gambling.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check.
Mm-hmm.
My intentions.
My intention is to try and squeeze a little bit more information out of them.
Okay. Alright. First dice. Roll of the D8.
Have to remind me, it's a 4, a 6, and an 8, right?
Yep. D8 gets rolled first, and then it progressively becomes lower and lower.
Okay. And how much is the base bet?
Start with the base bet of just a silver piece.
Cool.
You're the challenger, which means you're the bet.
Okay, I'll throw 2 more silver in.
He looks at you, puts down 4, which would raise it to 5 each.
Okay. Whoa, now. Moving up a little fast there.
Oh,
I'd like to know your name before you start throwing such coin around.
I'll have you know I'm doing nothing but moving up, and as such have to treat that like everything else. What was the question?
Your name.
What was the question?
Your name?
Hammond. Yeah.
Hammond, of course.
Sorry, my name is the guy who's gonna clean your purse. He's going to either be extremely lucky or you're going to murder him financially. Please, be kind to a stupid fool.
I promise to be gentle. Okay. Next roll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll call.
Oh, we got a coward. 5 more gold pieces on the or 5 gold, Jesus, 5 silver.
Pieces?
Silver pieces.
Holy shit.
I'm tweaking. 5 silver. Up to 10 silver supplied by each person, so now a full gold piece.
Yeah, I'll throw 5 more silver in. Nobody calls me coward and gets away with it.
He's gonna have to sell his sword. It's not. Never mind. Just trying to kind of have a good rowdy bit of fun before ending the night. Figured to spend it with some soldiers.
I suppose that, and of course I was curious about you all. I hadn't really seen you about in the taverns too much until now, so I've been kind of cooped up here for most of my time. I've been here for a couple months, and getting a large group of soldiers rolling back into tune livens things up quite a bit.
I mean, there's nothing much to say about The third, we're just moving through. We came through here a bit earlier, and even if things had went well, I'd suspect we would have been coming back through. Don't think any part of that would be that interesting.
I suppose not, but people always liven things back up.
I suppose so.
Do you know how long the third is planning on staying in town?
I mean, there's a couple of people who need time to rest and recuperate themselves, but after that, we're on standby. Until further notice, we are garrisoned here.
I see.
The unfortunate thing that we return to is kind of thwarting other plans. And so as a result, we've been asked to remain here.
I see. That wouldn't have anything to do with the commotion that happened over on the other side of town, what, 2 nights ago? Over by the Lord's house?
A bit. Order is needed if a town is veering on some sort of chaos, I suppose. Not just, well, I mean, even if you aren't a member here, it's not to state that Alanor was a chaotic town. You're just, it's a place in unfortunate situations. That's all.
I understand. You don't think there's more going on here besides whatever that plot might have been, do you? I've heard that was all done and over with.
Yes, we've been informed that that has all been tidied up. Nothing more to worry about on that end. It's just precaution. We're here to make people feel safe. Even if the danger is no longer present, people can still get antsy.
Can I make an insight check?
Please. Please do.
13?
13. You get the impression of not that he's lying, but that he's saying something that he doesn't believe. He has been told that it's all well and good and handled. He doesn't necessarily believe that it's all well and good and handled. But that's what he's been told, so he's telling you.
Okay. I'm gonna press just a little bit. You don't have suspicions that there's more going on. Seems like quite a fast pace to try and rep up something like that.
I mean, the people on the case, they have a luxury here, it appears. The inquisitorial type of solution, if anything could get it done quickly, I would say they would.
Oh yes, I can imagine that the Inquisitors are very efficient.
Indeed. There's something.
That they are. I know that a couple of them have been in town for quite a while.
Yes.
Sometimes wonder what drew them here besides just the general unrest. Seems like it would take quite a bit to get one of them called down.
Oh, who knows? Maybe they were on the other way that we were and got their boots stuck in something that they just had to address. It's not like any of us have any knowledge of how they operate. Nor would I have any intention on wanting to know how they operate.
With Glarin being from a more like higher standing family in his hometown, would he have any idea on how inquisitors operate?
Make a history check.
17.
I mean, you have all of the basics about the inquisitors. Inquisitors are basically sanctioned individuals sponsored by the Republic of Usapait to carry out specialized tasks. Those teaching in school would generally call it a force meant for a kind of civilized age where an army moving to check something could cause a bit of panic. Instead, a pair or around 4 people investigating something with the full weight of the law behind them is a lot more discreet and a lot less taxing on the reputation of the region, even when they send them into a different region. And as such, people in the southern and central region are willing to work a lot easier with inquisitors than people who would, say, take a regiment of soldiers down into a city. But from where you had gotten with your check, you are also privy to the how full of the extent of the law inquisitors are, where inquisitors once again bear about the same legal jurisdiction that a lord would, where they are able to come into a town, enact basically a martial type of law, or basically temporarily place a law on a city, and unless if the acting lord has something to say about it, that is now legal practice. And generally, historically speaking, the lords work in conjunction with the inquisitors, generally relying on their more worldly experience to assist them in creating peace, order, and justice.
Okay.
Usapate's so different from Pathlios, where in Pathlios I've never given a description of something and had been able to watch people roll their eyes in response to what I'm describing. And it appears the Inquisitor might have made an impression on people. But they are a force of the law. You know that.
I do know that. Okay. I have been hearing some nasty rumors around, besides what happened over at the Lord's house, particularly about areas underneath Eleanor Oren. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Underneath?
Oh, you know, strange sounds in the night, things of that nature, coming from below the streets.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure what city you're hailing from, or if you have the pleasure to hail from one, but all cities make sounds in the night. I'm sure the god does a great job of keeping things under order. No, I don't have experience with it. I went on an excursion today of basically verifying the and kind of like thinks to himself for a second. No, I checked a couple entrances once, so I have a small bit of experience with the sewers, but besides that, no, I'm not the person to ask about this city.
I make an insight check on him. $17 again? No, 17 for the first time. What was the last one, like 13?
About
17.
You can see him basically beginning to explain how he had went through the sewers, to you, and then decide he probably shouldn't be explaining that in depth to anyone, and then kind of pulled back, just saying that he had a modicum of experience. He's kind of reserving himself.
Okay. Well, it definitely seems like you have a bit more of a handle on yourself than these other guardsmen, so if you feel the need for a couple extra hands on whatever you're doing, I am more than handy with a sword myself and would be happy to help.
I see. I don't generally hold sway with what I'm doing, but if someone asks for my opinion, I will, I'll consider it. Are you done trying to enlist him, or, is he gonna lose his money now? Take his money for all I care. Right. Roll.
I'll check again.
He pushes 5 silver onto the table. Oh, I'm gonna clear you out. This is the best night of my life, and it's all thanks to you. And he pats the guy on, kind of on his back. You can see just like a short kind of wince kind of come out of the soldier. Right.
I'll pull 10 silver out, put a gold piece in, and then put 5 more silver in. So it's 15, right? Yeah.
30 for the
I'll
pot.
match it. I'll just. Yep.
You're ready to lose that pretty bit of gold?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. The reveal of hands. I think how many cursed you on this one, but we'll find out.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
That's what you get for snitching on me, cop.
I'm not snitching on you. Relax.
Asking about, do you know what's going on under the city? I know your future.
I'm talking
-4.
more about the sewers than I am about like the underground. You really expect someone like Glayrin to know about the underground?
Make 15 wisdom saving throws, all with double disadvantage, and you have to do it on your hands.
All right.
Uh-huh.
The D8 is a 7.
I got an 8.
The D6 is a 5.
Fuck, I got a 2.
Oh, sweet summer child. The D4 is not one off like the other 2 dice. It is the full 4.
I got a 1.
This is the highest hand I've ever rolled in Devil's Dice.
Holy shit. That's okay. I can afford to lose a few bits of silver and
A gold and a half.
if I get some more information, so that's reasonable. Yeah.
He pulls the silver
Well.
in.
Well done.
Well, sorry to hear about your purse.
Oh, it's all right. I have enough in my coffers to lose a little bit in a game like this.
Glad to hear that they're not taking everything from people. About this time, the door to the fresh flask opens. And we're gonna pull away from the above ground to see about these two interesting people that have just finished a quick nap. Val, you guys have located some meat, a half barrel full. Let's not be ridiculous. And have taken some time upon yourselves to rest. Are we approaching Kobold Hour?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we might just be.
I'm assuming it's like evening-ish now.
Absolutely.
I guess.
The sun is low in the sky, although you guys don't know that because you're underground. But people are winding down. People have been in the progress of winding down.
Would you allow me to roll a luck check to see if we run into Aelin and Ophelia in the market
If you guys
on the way out?
run into them,
Yeah, I'm not even gonna actively look, just to we were cross
Stumble.
yeah, I'm fine with that. Roll me a dice.
17.
17. As you guys have taken your rest and begin to head back over to the side. Basically, I believe you were resting actually at the Underground Inn before heading out.
I think I was just chilling on the steps into the market.
Got you.
And then Val paid for a room to practice.
To practice lockpicking.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Which went well. It went very well.
It went very well.
I have an hour of
Lockpicking experience.
lock picking time now. I would call that a success.
Easy enough, where as you are chilling on basically one of the entrances to the market, even as you're kind of beginning to kind of pick up and try to, it's less of you're traveling, and right now of it's a little bit of a scene of people watching a, not like the prominent features of the tiefling is not in fact its muscles. And as a result, you are drawing just a little bit of amused attention. Not like people helping you, that would be too easy, nor people making fun of you, just amused seeing. It's the equivalent of watching someone try to load a refrigerator onto the back of their car.
It's a little funny that I'm carrying this.
Yes. And as such, Aelin and Ophelia, you guys are returning from the leather house and see a small crowd gathering on kind of the edge of the market steps. And as I believe, I mean, there's no reason for me not to assume Ophelia has a little bit higher bit of view. With Aelin, if she wishes, you kind of perch yourself up to look over the shoulders of the people kind of looking around, and you can in fact see your acquaintance managing a barrel And Aelin, you kind of poke around the side of the crowd as both of you can see this scene of a kind of lean tiefling attempting to appropriately pick up and then balance the weight of a barrel to begin moving through the market.
Should we help? Or should we just kind of let this happen?
Who is
I'll
we
ask
in this instance?
I'll ask Ophelia.
Who is we in this instance? Oh, do let me go lend a hand as the hand comes out and does like the puppet thing near you.
Yeah, I guess I'm already carrying something. Hands are full.
Go on then.
That's
Oh,
fucked up.
maybe-
I'm sure
hey,
it's with the two of you and
how's
me,
it-
it should be fine.
How you guys doing?
Oh, hey, do you need a hand with that thing you have there?
I think I'm actually fine with the barrel. I'm gonna set the barrel down. And I'm gonna like pull my pack around to the front and I'm like dig in my pack for a moment. And I'm gonna pull out my knife and just like stuff it in like my belt or something and be like, hey, can you just take my pack with you to the inn? Are you guys at the something crow?
Yeah, the broken crow?
Mm-hmm.
I'll meet you guys there. I'll bring Val back too later. I mean, unless you want to come along, but like, that's up to you, I guess.
I mean, I don't have too much going on, but Ophelia, do you need to head back to the hotel?
I'm not sure I'll be much use in what you have going on here. I could go, but
I
not
mean,
doing much else.
you could just come for fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd hate to miss whatever this is gonna lead to.
Cannot wait to see this.
Do you want to know, or do you want to be surprised at this point?
How armed should I be if I'm surprised?
I'm assuming you have like a sword and shit on you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
Oh, okay. A surprise it should be then.
All right. In that case, will one of you, kind of looking between Val and Aelin, carry my pack for a little bit?
Is Aelin's carrying Ophelia? Is Val relatively empty-handed?
I mean, he has like a small pack, but yeah, he can take it. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll let you take it.
And then I'm just gonna start, if that's that, I'm gonna start heading out. I guess I'm trying to go to the closest exit to this on the surface to the entrance to the sewers, so that we're not on the surface, so that we're on the surface for the least amount of time as I can manage.
Okay.
Us to be.
Gotcha. That is more than enough. Well, I assume if Aelin's going, Ophelia is tagging along in the bag.
I'm going along to see what's going on too, so I'm alert. I'm not just chilling.
You're not just chilling.
I'm alert.
So the four of you go over to the Broken Crow to drop off the bag. Anything that you don't think you need, you're able to kind of store there. And then all proceed to take a small trip through the tunnels of the underground to emerge out close to the sewer place. There's still a couple blocks you need to move If there's a specific way you guys want to travel, let me know. Otherwise, I will just assume you are walking out in the open.
I would like to take back streets if possible.
Okay.
And my shit got fucked up. I would also it's not an hour, right? I would also like to use 2 key points to cast Pass Without Trace for all of us within 30 feet of me.
Absolutely. All right.
And then I'm rolling a stealth check.
Okay.
Can I do that normally,
So-
or?
We're going topside to get to the place to go back down, right?
You're getting out of the
Yeah.
tunnels to get into the sewer.
Okay.
All right. Well, you're welcome to roll that stealth check.
I'll roll it.
Daytime or not?
I'm making that normal, right?
Due to the... Yeah, no, you can be making that normal. You're not encumbered anymore.
I would
and
also
don't
like to
forget
roll
when
one.
rolling stealth checks, you get an extra +10.
Wait,
Due to pass without trace, you get +10. Do not
You're
worry.
not a
Do not.
demon.
Do
You're
not
not-
worry. Do not worry
You're
about the
not-
man behind the. Do not worry about the man behind the curtain.
You're done. You're done.
Do not.
okay, so JC, what happens if I'm as loud as physically possible?
You'd be making a performance check, and on a successful check, increase the encounter chance on the table.
Because I got a 1.
Okay,
So
good to know. How are the other two doing?
I got a 26.
Sounds good.
a lot better than me.
Am I rolling that with backpack disadvantage?
I'm assuming Ophelia's spending the needed action to cancel it out.
Alright, cool. I rolled an 8, but being approximately 18.
18? Absolutely. Okay, so not enough to get you guys off of the encounter table due to that natural 1, but the encounter table, there's 1 or a 2. Don't roll
Wait,
that. What's
is
up?
there a way that I can cast? Is there a way I can use one of my spells to create a diversion to lessen the chance of us getting in a altercation?
I mean, I feel like that would be better spent if you actually roll an encounter.
Okay.
Because if
yeah,
you're creating a diversion or a distraction, that would still draw people over to it. So let's see if you go.
Okay.
Let's see if you go unbothered. If I don't roll a 1 or a 2, you guys are fine. Hey guys, I didn't roll 1
Here's
or
a
a 2.
3.
You're fine. I rolled the number next to a 2, which is really funny. I rolled a 12, and on the dice it's right next to a 2. It's great. So, you guys kind of step through the evening air, seeing the sun begin to pull down past the walls of Alinar, and are able to step to the entrance to the sewers that the group of you had went down beforehand. The stage is yours. What would you like to do?
Entrance.
Yeah, entrance to the sewers.
I suppose I just want to drop down first
Okay.
into that first little room.
All right.
When I drop down, I'm going to start the scouting expedition with the spider. Because it is not direct sunlight down here, so I should be fine.
Absolutely. You are indeed able to do that. All right.
And once all of us are down there, I'm gonna set the barrel down, and I'm gonna turn to Val and ask, I'm gonna tell Val, before we can move forward with this, can you keep a secret?
Is this like hush just between you and I?
I mean, these two know, but...
Oh. Yeah. Probably.
The other two don't know, though.
I'm gonna like look over my shoulder at the other two.
No. Those two are fine. The other two.
Oh, like the other two, not the other two, but the... Okay, yeah. I can do that.
Okay, sick. And I'm going to transform into, or shape change, I think is the proper term.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure I do this right. A female blue dragonborn. And the once somewhat loose clothing is now quite a bit tighter on my being. As I also probably grow like a foot and a half.
Val is gonna start like not ignore what just happened, but start looking around as if like somebody threw a smoke bomb and like disappeared or something. And I'm like, whoa, like where are they now? And so I'm just gonna start like looking around, like it was a dragonborn, right?
I was a purple tiefling before, and I am now a blue dragonborn.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start like looking around the dragonborn and seeing if I can find like where did the real go? Like a trap door? What happened? Can I even make it like an investigation check to see if I can find anything?
Please.
Okay. That's not too bad. Let's see. That's an 18.
18?
I'm gonna be like on the ground, like moving dirt and like rocks and shit.
Aelin, Ophelia, you watch as Val kind of like looks around for a moment and kind of like moves some stuff aside, looks on the other side, like around the edge of the barrel, and you know, you're able to kind of go through this area. The tiefling is nowhere present behind any of this, but you know that like you can see where like some of the shards of rock that are kind of on the ground, because this is a workstone area, are actually there because some of the like harder, like maybe like a steel-toed or steel-soled boots have maybe like even like scraped shards of rock off, and that's how those bits have gotten there that are next to the barrel. And the barrel itself, through like looking at the seams, and it looks like it's gonna last for like it'll last for a while, but eventually through like this bit of shoddy patch job on the kind of like bottom right quadrant of it's gonna possibly start leaking at some point. It's not gonna remain watertight, and so all of that you get to commit to your mind, but none of them are the location of Val, for you, Val, of the tiefling. They have disappeared and have been replaced with a blue dragonborn.
I'm gonna start like almost getting like aggressive and start like pointing at like the dragonborn's face. Who the fuck are you? Who are you? You isn't here. Who are you? How did you get here? Isn't here. You're here, and where was? I'm gonna turn around to Aelin and Ophelia and say, do you guys know where is?
I'm just gonna like
add one.
put my hand on top of Val's head and like move my hand back and forth, kind of like messing up your hair a little bit. Like, go figure it out, bud. And I'm gonna pick up the barrel and start walking towards where we know where we know the kobolds kind of where the like entrance is over here, you know.
All right. Noticeably, for the rest of you, is that even though has gained some muscle mass as a result of this, they're still having about the same amount of difficulty / ease of picking up and moving the barrel, as though like I don't want to say fake muscles, but more of like things have gotten rearranged, and even though mass looks like it has been added, it has not come with any additional strength.
So they're just as blind.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
Or
Let me
not
do
at all.
Something about that then. I guess we're gonna get dancing lights out here.
All right. You guys throw those dancing lights out.
Dancing lights and spider to scout.
Thunk, thunk, thunk. Please have your spoder roll a perception check.
It is my perception check. Guess what I don't have on my desk?
Dice.
I
Wow,
think I would
you two
that.
really did not expect to
Holy
play
shit.
today, huh?
Yeah.
Did you roll? Did you roll already? I'll roll for you.
I'm rolling right now. I had dice on my desk. They're just in the containers.
That's not that
The
bad.
let me
spider
roll for
sees
it.
nothing. 8.
Yeah. Should have let me roll for you.
8.
8. Okay. Well, the lights and the spider kind of move forward as all of you kind of make your way through the sewers, kind of get to that original spot. What are passives again? Anything over let's say 14 right now?
Exactly a 14.
I think I'm at 12.
You're at 12?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I will check one last time.
Mine is
Nothing
definitely a
for me.
12.
Yours is a what? Definitely a 12?
12. Definitely a 12.
Yeah, no. Nothing is seen through all of this. And so, you all are making your way through that sewer, kind of keeping yourselves ready and waiting until you are standing in front of that previously mentioned small, short hallway. The door, at this point, is no longer slightly agape. And so you don't actually see into the room at this moment, where you'd seen those large, you've seen those kind of like the edge of that kind of large structure, and had originally seen the little flash of scales beforehand. That door is now closed.
Does it close in towards us or out towards the kobolds?
Out towards the kobolds.
I'm gonna set the barrel like right in front of the door, and then I'm gonna knock. And then in Draconic, I'm going to say out loud, "Come, I bring a gift."
Can I try to place the language again with the shape change and hearing it a second time?
I'm gonna modify the DC, but sure, go for it.
Okay. What am I rolling exactly?
This would be. Oh boy, I'm trying to remember what we had. I think it was nature. I think that's why you had actually failed it the first time.
I'm gonna fail it again with a 9.
The 9,
Those
as
are going back in the case.
as the kind of like hoarse yet kind of booming, deep sound of the language escapes your knowledge. Of course, if any of you speak that language, you know which it is. I don't think Aelin or Val speak that though. So I think everyone's
Mm-mm.
just watching the fireworks at this point. At this moment.
After
The other one that speaks Draconic for some reason.
Aelin speaks basic and bitch, so that's about it.
Hell yeah.
after that was said, can I lean back over to the other two and just ask again? Yo, who the fuck is this?
So, the way that this works is once
It's a
per
demon.
day, can switch places with another person who's been cursed by this certain. It's a whole thing. You'll have to ask later on. I can't remember all the finer details, but it's a completely different person that they switch places with.
And we're not like
Demonic curse.
we're not like worried about like that's like not a problem. Like that sounds kind of really scary, and we're like not worried about that.
No, this is like the third or fourth person that we've met here.
Third or
They
fourth, and
all
I'm just
just
hearing about this
weird-
now.
He says they
It's-
share senses, but we're not very sure if that's true.
Yeah, like they seem to know us when they appear. I don't know if they share memories or if they all see through each other's eyes. It's a whole thing.
So,
She's
This
very
is some-
sensitive about it. You can't ask her.
oh fuck. So this is some like demon something, and we're just like, okay,
The
like we
demonic
just
curse, 10th circle.
and we just don't know anything about it, and we're just
Well, I
okay
mean, you
with
know.
that.
Well, what about you? Where'd you come from?
We all have secrets.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I showed up.
Yeah, who knows if I think you might not remember. 'cause
They
you-
just showed
you have a
up,
drip
so
like
why are
this.
you worried about it? You both
Yeah,
just
it's
showed
okay.
up.
Well, because I
They've been
haven't
nothing but
transformed
helpful
into
so
a
far.
demon yet.
It's okay.
Are you sure about that? Have you looked at yourself recently?
How do you know you weren't a demon before?
How do you know what you were before? Why are you blue?
Why are you not?
Why are you blue?
Exactly. See,
Yeah, just don't
she's
worry.
blue, and we
It's-
let her be. So let her be. You're
Just
both
act,
blue.
act,
It's okay.
act like nothing's happening. You may have to reintroduce yourself every once in a while to the new person, but it's not anything out of the ordinary.
You saw she was kind to you when you met. Rub the top of your head.
That
It'll be
is true.
fine.
That is true. Okay.
Look, don't ask questions and ride the wave. It's fun that way, isn't it?
I don't know if it is.
And why wouldn't it be?
If anything, you're just meeting new friends. Look at it that way.
Friend.
Okay, that is pretty cool actually. I do
Yeah.
like new friends.
Just make sure that you introduce yourself because if they might share memories, but you never know if first impressions.
Well,
Mm.
introduce yourself
Oh,
and don't ever ask her about it.
Like never?
Never.
We
Oh.
tried once
Very
when
sensitive
the new
about it.
one started up, and it was
Yeah, we
really
asked her.
bad.
Look at what she did to me.
Yeah. Do you remember how they're talking
Can't
about
tell
like
anyone
the
about it
thing
either.
that happened in the Northern District and like that whole fiasco?
Yeah,
why
I
we're
think-
underground?
Yeah.
That was kind of involved with the first time.
They asked me.
Oh.
Just don't. It's best just not to ask about it. Things can go south pretty quick.
Mm, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is doing during this like little powwow that we're having?
They're not being quiet, by the way. Like you can hear the entire conversation.
I specifically want response to. Yeah, I asked her about it, and look at what she did to me.
You guys turn to look down the hallway, and you can just see is trying, like, has a huge smile and is trying so hard not to laugh.
Valin rolled no insight for any of that.
Nope.
None. They
Val,
took it at face value.
Val is just gonna like slowly turn around and just give a really big smile back and say, "Okay, I'm ready to go."
Don't forget, introduce yourself. You never know.
I'm nervous. I will later.
Okay. Okay. First impressions.
Yeah.
Don't ask her why she's blue. It's-
No.
What she did
No,
to me.
I'm blue. She's blue. It's all right. Okay. Yeah.
You haven't
Anyway.
looked back at them, right? You're just trying to not. You're just trying to not laugh.
I've maybe like kind of turned, like I'm still facing the door, but I
Mhm.
might have like kind of turned my head back and like kind of looking over my shoulder at them. So like they could probably see the smile on my snout. But yeah.
Gotcha. You hearing this exchange, I would actually say I would want you to just make a perception check for me real quick.
Bet. I would love to. 10.
10? Maybe it's because you were getting distracted by these people. Maybe it's because there has been nothing. But you have gotten no verbal response to the Draconic and have heard no skittering that you had heard last time. The door is quiet as well as the room is beyond.
Is the door unlocked?
Would you like to test it?
I would like to check.
Okay. You kind of jiggle the handle. It does appear to be unlocked.
Can I roll an Arcana or Perception to see if there's like a glyph of warding or something?
You are more than welcome to roll an Arcana check. You're looking for specifically a glyph? Go for it.
I don't see anything. 6.
Understood.
I suppose I'll open the door.
Okay. You kind of pull and then push slightly on the door, kind of just rocking back and forth. I'd assume you're kind of like leaning over the barrel to like pull and then push open the door with like this shove, since the barrel's in between you and the door. And you hear it all of you can hear it just kind of open up. And as you do, you can see, maybe as one of the dancing lights kind of go and highlights, these kind of large, basically large structures in this room. These kind of basically almost reaching to the roof of this section. It opens up into a well and true room about 10, 12 feet tall. And you can see these kind of like stone, these basically stoned circular, maybe cases, maybe grindstones that kind of expand upwards to almost hitting the roof of this sewer section. And you see no immediate kobolds. You see a basically like a fine, like almost like white or grayish like dust or like remnants of like stone powder or shavings that is like heavily disturbed on the floor, like something that you'd expect to see from a mason's shop. That you can see a bunch of different like scattered trails just both moving through and stopping at that door where you and the barrel are, and then moving around the corner to your right after the first one of those structures are available. And yeah, that's what is available.
Suppose I'd like, I'll pick up the barrel. I'm gonna move to the next door, and I'd like to just, I guess, I'm just gonna use my passive. I just want to know if I hear anything. with a 12 on the other side.
With a 12 on the other side, you do not, in fact, hear anything.
Okay.
It's very quiet.
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay.
Like, kind of slowly, but I'm gonna open the door.
All right. As you open that door slowly, you feel as soon as the knob unclicks, there's an immediate sort of pressure on the door as it swings inward, just like the other one. Into you this time, you can smell this almost kind of like powderized, like very earthly, almost like sulfuric smell kind of almost spill over the top of the door onto your shoulder as the two of you kind of behind her. I just realized Alpha's not in the Roll20, so he hasn't moved up. But as the rest of you who had kind of...
I'll move him.
Yeah, as the two of you had kind of... As all of you have kind of stepped up, you can see this almost like blackened powder basically kind of spill onto shoulder, and as the door kind of begins to bulge in and push open with the weight, I would like you to make a strength saving throw.
Am I being charmed right now?
Is not Val.
Ah.
That's why I said
18.
make a strength saving throw.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good.
I was getting my Roll20 open. Okay, here I am.
All Gucci. What'd you get?
Here I am.
18. You can feel whatever it is, almost like some sort of like rigged to fall over barricade kind of trying to crash through the door, and are able to react either fast enough or with enough force to reverse it and can close the door if you want to. That is now an option available to you. If you stand there with a successful strength check, some version of whatever's trying to get through the door will still, like, whatever objects are trying to like spill through the door, whether it's a barricade or some level of sand or powder, some of it will continue to get through the door if you don't elect to close it, or you can attempt to jump now out of the way if you just want to be done with it and let whatever comes through the door come through the door. All three options are available to you.
Am I hearing something shift on the other side of that door? Because I don't want to get caught in that powder again.
I suppose I'll jump, like, out of the way and just let it, whatever comes through, comes through.
Let it pulse through. Ophelia, what you are seeing is like a black powder begin to spill over onto shoulder. And you can hear
in the bag to cover my face.
and you can hear like the shifting of like items, like almost like a sort of like furniture-esque area. And as you elect to jump out of the way, I don't feel bad about saying Aelin because you did move yourself there physically and you're at the same thing. I'd need both of you to make me a quick dexterity saving throw. Because you passed the strength check, you get to make it at advantage because you got to basically choose when it happened.
Just a 10.
15.
15. Okay. You succeed on this and will only take a glancing blow. Aelin, you failed the DC 12. I apologize.
Thanks.
And
Yikes.
as such will take... So, Aelin takes 6 points of bludgeoning damage. You will take 3.
Oh no.
I know, it's terrible.
Good thing I bought that healing potion.
Yes, that healing potion is needed right now.
That's right. This instant, actually.
This exact instant.
After hearing this kermuffle go down, can I come out of the bag with my face covered in a hurry? Because you know, if she could have run away, she would have.
Uh-huh.
And I want to.
You seem disappointed.
Ayla, we gotta go. Ayla, we gotta go.
As you see this kind of like kick up of this, it's different than the last time you guys kind of got caught up in this, although it's going to be similar. What actually kind of pushes through is it looks like some sort of like makeshift barricades. You can see some old ratty tables and chairs that are covered in this blackening yellow dust. It looked like most of the decayed stuff had come through and spilled on but as the tables and chairs kind of come and crash through, it puffs and puts both the black and yellow dust in the air. And as everyone is in that room, they're going to make a con saving throw before it all starts to go.
That was a not great time to point out.
I covered my
bloodied.
face.
You are what, Aelin?
I am bloodied. I'm not doing good.
Oh no.
You didn't short rest heal when we were in the bath? I told you to short
I
rest
guess
heal
I
when we were in the
technically
bath.
I didn't do the math.
You can roll those dice. That's fine.
I was at full, so I didn't need to. But like,
Oh, do
that was our whole. Now we gotta go back because we're dirty again.
Covered in dust.
You said a con save?
Con save.
I got a 19.
Nice.
It's me covering my face with this bit
Okay.
of cloth I have in the bag.
I will say, since you prepared for it before the second saving throw is done, I will give you advantage on it.
I already knew this was about to be some nonsense, and I really don't want to deal with this.
For the record, that was a con save. I got a 19.
19.
Might have saved me. I got a 17.
17.
I got a 14.
14. Val?
19.
19. Okay, so you're all good, so you'll just be taking half damage and not receiving the poison effect.
Oh,
So you will take 10 reduced to 5 points of poison damage. And none of you are poisoned, but you can all immediately begin to feel your eyes water, your noses run, and almost like beginning to sweat, like unnaturally, as this yellow and black powder kind of mixes up and spins through the air. You can see that both and Aelin specifically, you can see as you were closest to it that there is, after a slight bit of waiting, the hallway itself is actually mostly clear ahead of where the door has been kind of forced open. But it is your choice about whether you guys want to stay in this area, go back, or go forward.
Ophelia leans backward hard, trying to pull Aelin out of this room, like slamming into Val to do it too. She does not want to deal with this. I'll roll strength. I'll roll athletics for you.
Did I also take the 5 damage?
Yes.
Saving that.
Even if people saved, they still take half damage. The full damage
Half
was
damage.
10, so you take 5.
Just making sure I'm keeping
Yep.
up.
Soft little bit of initiative for everyone that wants to do an action can do an action of this group of 4 before we go back to addressing the dust in the room.
You said the hallway was clear?
If you wade through the dust about right here, it pretty much clears up. It looks like it was almost, from a quick glance at it, it looks like it was almost piled up against that door so it would fall when someone opened it.
so what would be the repercussions of going through it?
I'd assume hitting some more concentrated blast.
Okay.
You are agitating the main section of it. It's the difference between, having a mat that has a bunch of dust fall over and then jumping on that mat. Like, it's gonna push up some more dust.
Mm-hmm.
How big are these round things?
How
Like, you
tall
said
are
go
they?
to the ceiling. You said
Yeah.
they go to the ceiling, right?
So about 12 feet tall. With
I
a
am trying to get out of this room.
diameter
I
of
don't wanna
10.
be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if Ophelia's pulling me, I'm gonna also try and make my way backwards.
Easy enough.
Do you think that with a high acrobatics, I could like get a small running start and take a couple steps across the cylinder and then like jump through the doorway?
I'd be willing to see if I'd be willing to give you a parkour check.
Acrobatics, right?
Absolutely.
And I guess I'll move. If they're really pulling to get out, I will move out of the way.
Okay.
Just up and leave, basically.
So basically, the three of you guys are going back up north version of the map. Or are you staying in the room now? Okay.
I'm seeing that isn't well. I'm seeing that this other thing over here isn't leaving.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm gonna stick it out to see what's happening.
Gotcha.
So Ophelia wants out of this room.
All right. Well, Ophelia, Aelin, if you guys are moving north, you're welcome to do so. Please give me an acrobatics check. Let me know if you're closing the door as well, Aelin.
I don't think we would.
17.
Probably got what it was.
17. Val, as you're watching the other two kind of backpedal out of the room, you hear the kind of shoe kind of scrape off of dust and stone as the Dragonborn jumps and kicks their foot out to hit that stone, maybe like grinding stone, maybe vessel to hold something in, and just basically jumps over the mound of furniture and dust and grime, and you are able to navigate all the way over there without making another con save.
Damn.
So
I'm good.
Sounds my turn.
Yeah, you're the only one.
How far into the... So if I come down here, how far into the hallway can I see? Or can I see through to where...
You can see through to where they are.
Okay, great. I would... Well, if what I've just done does not make me make another con save, I would love to cast Misty Step through to where the other person is.
Beautiful.
Whoever they are.
I will have, since you're at the edge of it and then stepping through, you did touch where it was on the map.
Okay.
So I still do need another con save out of you. But
there's no way I'd be able to do it like around the pillar or anything like that.
No,
like,
but I
I'd
will
still
say
catch
the Misty
tail
Step
end.
will negate the... I'll just do another normal mold check, basically, rather than the concentrated one that is worse.
Mm.
So
Still a con save, though?
Roll me a con save.
Okay. Ooh, even better than last time. Unnatural 20.
Sick.
Almost a 2. Very almost a 2.
6 down to 3 points of poison damage.
Now I'm actually genuinely really glad that I got that healing potion.
Yeah.
I actually...
I mean, you've used a bonus action right now, so...
Yeah. I'm gonna ask the person ahead of me. I bought a healing potion earlier today. Should I be using that right now? Like, should I be worried that there's more of this ahead?
I mean, there could be. But I don't know. It might be more worth it to hang on to that in case, you know, maybe everything goes fine the rest of the way through, and then we gotta fight some dudes tomorrow. It might be good to have that around you know, we get through the rest of this fine. So maybe wait and see.
Yeah, I still don't know who you are, but I hate that you're saying maybe right.
I mean, you'll figure it out. I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna kind of like glance up the hallway and then down the hallway.
Okay. As you look through that, you can see a very long hallway. 5 and 60. As it both goes to the northern and south side. The northern side, you can see a large door. That door actually has claw marks on it. You can see claw marks around the handle. You can see these kind of gouges in the spot, along with some general, like, you can see like small spots of brown stains along the stone. And other than that, the other way, the southern section simply goes into farther than darkness will let you see further. About 60 feet of just hallway, empty hallway.
I'd like to walk up to this door in the north. I'm just gonna like I'm gonna kind of knock on it, but I'm not trying to be super loud about it. I'm just like maybe enough to catch Aylin's attention with his 12 perception.
Easy enough to do. Tick, tick, tick. Aylin,
around the corner and look down the hallway.
You can see a collection of doors.
Yeah.
That knocking sound. You might not be able to trace it immediately, but you can move over, and as continues to knock at it, you hear it coming from the one that you've just moved in front of.
I'll knock back.
Tick, tick, tick.
I assume is there a handle on this side?
There is. That's where all the scratch marks are.
Oh, I assume it doesn't work. It's locked probably from this side, huh?
You attempt to open it, and all of you can hear the lock catch. You can see.
I want to try and pick the lock.
Absolutely. This is.
This is why
you guys have just been breaking doors the entire time. The second Val gets down here, it's like, we're gonna pick this lock.
Yeah, we're gonna be ethical.
The first time you fail, I'm putting my foot on the handle.
Well, do I roll this with disadvantage as well because I'm not proficient?
No, you just roll it. You just don't get to add proficiency or anything to it. This is dexterity with nothing else, and if you don't break it,
I sure hope I don't. Good thing I have a good boy point. Oh, I won't even need it. So I add my dex to it?
Mm-hmm.
21.
As Ophelia, Aelin, you guys are preparing, like, you're watching Aelin, like, kind of rev himself up to knock down another door as he has done so many times today, and you just hear a click, and the door swings in, and you can see Val just kind of hunched over by where the lock was, and he'd pulled the door open. Val, you look up, and you can see the two of them.
Hey, guys.
That's no fun. Find anything good over there?
Some pretty cool lockpicking skills. I mean, that was pretty cool, huh? I have that. Pretty cool.
You should have seen us doing it earlier.
Yeah, maybe a little bit quieter than our method, but it works. why don't we dance these lights over here now?
Ophelia has secluded into the bag, and from inside you just hear the muttering of her saying filthy over and over. It doesn't seem she's keen on coming back out after that display.
All right.
You
Well,
may need to coax her out of the bag.
since Ophelia was in the bag, Aelin, I'd love for you to make a... Ooh. Let's make a... I will say you get a choice. If you fail a perception check, you don't get to roll the second dice roll. But if you succeed the perception check, the next dice roll will be at a reduced DC.
All right, well.
Or you can just take whatever the mystery dice roll is at the higher DC. Which is your choice?
I will try to perceive. I'll try to perceive.
Perceive. Perceive for me.
I do believe I have a good boy point if I had to use it, but that's okay. 12.
Aelin's thing is not perceiving. He's not much of a perception kind of guy.
Bag usually does that before you
Pretty distracted right now.
dump toilet water and wyvern poison on her, so...
It's all right. Luckily, because the dancing lights were on your guys' side of the thing, the DC was 10 rather than 15 on this being in general darkness.
Well, I took damage. I would have put him back up. It's fine.
So do I get to roll more dice then?
What you see is some sort of, like, it's very odd to see, and if it wasn't because of, like, a little bit of reflection off of the side of the wood from the dancing lights, you wouldn't have seen it at all. But there is a small etching on the corner of the door on the outer edge. I would like you to roll a religion check for me. This has gone from DC 18 to DC 14 because you succeeded the check.
Adds up, dude. Okay. Because you know my modifier is +0.
Good luck. Okay.
6.
Oof.
It's not made to be easy. It's made to be there. It's made to be a possibility.
So I'll look at it, and I'll be like, Ophelia, does this make any sense to you? Oh, and I'll spin around so she doesn't have to like crawl out of the back completely. Just lift the lid to like peek out.
I'm making her pay for another bath when we get back into town. She slinks out of the bag to examine whatever you're asking her to look at.
You're able to point it out, so the perception check is passed. Please make a religion check for me.
I have no reason to have advantage of this in any capacity, so I'm just gonna roll this.
I'm glad you stated it.
I'm a little shy. I got an 11. I don't know what this is off the top of my head.
As the other two of you just kind of see these two beginning to move into the door, and then they kind of stop and are looking at this symbol that Aelin kind of points out.
No arcana, no nothing else?
No, this does not reek of arcane.
I could barely spot the language. This means nothing to me.
Oh, very well.
Describe it to me. What does it look like, though?
What you see is a small circular, basically not perfect, slightly, what would we call it? Slightly off kilter, almost like a vibrating hand had carved it in. There's just that kind of jiggle in the line. Carved into that door. And with it, you can see basically a eye that has been pulled across it, basically to almost simulate the outer circle being the eyeball, and then the kind of two curves to emulate the iris with another circle inside. This one not off kilter, almost perfectly carved in circular to imitate the pupil. As though like a watchful eye is over this door.
The only eyes I would know would be weeping.
Can I look to see what this was like? What was used to carve this? Because
Make an intelligence check.
A religion check?
Intelligence.
Oh, you cut out, so I just kind of.
That's okay. I appreciate it.
It's all the same.
For you, maybe.
Actually, let's use a different. Actually, no, this dice. I haven't used this dice tonight. And that was a good choice, I think. 16.
You see that has been, with some sort of tapped blade, like a chisel, has been worked into the door. So the off-kilter or squiggly nature, I should say, of the outer circle is on purpose. This is a very it's made to look like this. It is a very intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I pull out my very nondescript book of ancient deity, whatever it's gonna be called?
You can call it whatever you want, man. You can call it your field journal if you want.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter to me.
That might be what it is. And can I? And we can move along, whatnot. But can I try and like etch it in my book as best as I can, just like making it look like I'm writing it down for future reference?
It is exceptionally easy for you to scrawl it in. You would have expected this to like take you a couple tries or a couple entries. You don't think of yourself as a neat doodler, but it happens without any issue, and you're able to scrawl the symbol into the book.
Do I just right now, just like I pick my pencil up, is there anything, do I get anything?
Make a religion check.
Okay. New dice.
I'd be watching.
I don't want you to watch. You don't know what I'm doing.
You've got some book-related tendencies.
He's pulled a book out and begun scrawling the symbol in it. And he just kind of looks down at it, looks up.
Oh. Hopefully it's really obvious.
You know what the
really
DC
clear.
is. You know what the DC is. If you need to use a good boy point, use it.
I forgot I had mine.
You know what? I'm going to use it. I'm using my point. So, okay, wait. How does this work again? Do I
You just re-roll the dice.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's a lot better actually. No wonder these are great. 17.
17. You scrawl the symbol, look down, look up at the symbol, and the words abyssal protection leave your lips. And then you kind of blink. You look around and you see the three of them are kind of looking at you. You look down, look it up. Protection from fiends. And all of it kind of like snaps into perspective, I'll say. This is not arcane. This is not something scrolled by a wizard. This is a etched and possibly sanctified tag, almost, by someone of the God-fearing variety to ward off fiend nature.
So is it in like the same vein of like people who might keep like a cross in their home to keep out evil spirits? Is that the vibe?
If a cross has just wanting to make sure that you're on the perspective of how effective it would be then.
Mm-hmm.
Val, you know that this would be as effective as arcane powers against fiends. This would act as like a full lock on the door, as though the door doesn't even exist and it's a wall to a fiend.
I'm interested again. I want to look at this again.
But it's not. It's as effective.
But it cannot be dispelled by traditional arcane means.
Okay, wow.
What are they trying to keep in here? I'm starting to be less and less excited for the surprise.
It's probably fine, right?
Val explained that to us, right? Like this mark and all that.
Half of what he said, anything that I had immediately said after he had looked up, he just involuntarily said out loud.
Yeah.
So he said abyssal protection.
Abyssal protection, and then
yeah.
protection from fiends. Those were said out loud.
I want to take a second look at this then, when he's done with it.
He's sort of just staring at it now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at my... Well, after I said that, I quickly closed my book and I put it away. But other than that, I'm just kind of standing there.
Ophelia, how would you like to take a look at this?
I want to lean in again, and I know I'm not going to be able to reroll the check because, like you said, there's no arcana here to be done with this.
There is not.
There's no religion. Would you
let me know if there's a different way that you think Ophelia would approach it, and I'll let you roll if there's anything appropriate to roll.
Would you take a history or a straight intelligence? Because there's no arcana here. What's its ceiling? There's some nature to its structure.
Looking for nature into its structure.
There's something behind it. There's more that goes into this. I can't intuit its entirety, which I wasn't able to, but I can intuit the nature of its parts.
Yeah, if you want to just do a breakdown of it, straight intelligence, go for it.
I'll break this straight down, and
the sum of its
pull out
parts.
my special book, but I am gonna pull out a book from my little scholars pack, and I am gonna try to encourage. I mean, I'm gonna have to get Valden's attention to come and hold the book for me while I scroll into it.
I will come and hold the book.
And I'm gonna attempt to just intuit the basics of this.
Please do. Give me an intelligence.
So visual protection with no actual arcana means. $21.
21. You look into this of less of the symbol itself, which is eluding you. You haven't seen it before, and so instead you revert to a purely academic standpoint. How is this made? What tools were used? And as such, what you're able to kind of divulge from here is... one, some sort of incredibly sharp, precise tool was used, or some sort of expert at making this type of symbol, or maybe a combination of the two, was first brought in here to inscribe it. The symbol's not very big, so it's made to possibly catch people or things off guard. Afterwards, you look at the kind of base of the door where it stood over, and you can see that the edge of the stone, the work stone underneath the door, is slightly different. Not in like it's like marred by something. More of just like the general gunk and buildup that you would expect from a sewer isn't as readily present underneath the door where you would expect, underneath where that front side of the door is. In that, I mean some sort of liquid might have been, it can be assumed, was then poured over the front part of that door to maybe lock in something, add some sort of assistance to the barrier, or finish a ritual that has happened on the door. All of these show or remind you of increasingly more, I don't want to say traditional, more ancient ways of conducting magic even. This is something that is so old and so, I guess, out of practice that you would this is basically the equivalent of seeing, like, going up to a computer and seeing it locked by a operating system that was out of practice 50 years ago. This is something that, as experienced as you are right now in magic, this is something that your most basic detection and identification spells would not register as. It's not that it's not magic, it's that it's such a different type of magic and so out of compatibility with standard arcane rituals that it will not register.
Before we could chart the stars and the moon, we first had to look to the earth. My magic is looking up, this is looking down. And it's like, it goes beyond ancient magic, because like, you would know ancient magic, the system still connects. This is like, there's a jump in the series here. Like, we're going beyond what I would even need to know, because it's borderline lost.
Mm-hmm. You can see from your experience in Arcane how one could create something like it in an arcane stance. And if it works, that would lend some validity towards, you know, this, in fact, like, being some form of magic. But you do not have the compatible arcane prowess to deconstruct it or attempt to rebuild it at this time.
The door on the other end I could force open because our systems match. This would be like me putting like a modern key in one of those old latches. Like,
this would be trying to put an SSD into a full, like, floppy disk based system. Like, there's just no compatibility.
I understand what's happening. I don't understand how to configure with it. I want to
Let's even say that's a little too technological. This is handing a fucking SSD to people making hieroglyphics.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Like, this is the stuff they, like, this is the stuff that, like, you might know in your house 5,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be supposed to say this might... Oh, would she know? Would she know? I'm gonna ask you a very important question. I'm gonna DM it. Does Ophelia know what the Age of Silence is?
Mm.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I mean, you're a studied individual from Usapait.
I'm studied. I'm old.
I would
I was
say
alive for the catastrophe 60 years ago.
I would say you know it as a time period. I would say it's the equivalent of like you and I would know the I don't even know if I can pronounce the
I know why the Aztec. I know the time period when the Aztec Empire went missing. I don't know what happened.
You don't know squat about them. Yeah, that's the way to go.
I just know that it happened. I have a start and an end with no middle.
100%.
Would this be something that came after the concept of that?
Very well.
I'll have to look in it.
Very well could be.
I want to more than Valden. I don't want to draw it on because I'm not gonna be able to. I want to like fold the book over I want to fold it over a certain way and have Valden hold it in place, and I want to do like a rubbing of it straight into this book. I'll get it as it was made.
As you do that, I'm saying not to pause, but to actually say their name, by the way. You've brought this hell upon us.
I love this. I love it.
You have, basically, at this point, you're still kind of further down than anyone else, I believe. Like, still kind of through that door, as everyone else is paying attention to the door. Could you roll me a perception check?
I'd love to.
Unless if there's something else you're doing, but...
I mean, I suppose I've kind of just been, like, letting them look at this, maybe kind of looking over their shoulders a little bit, but, like, genuinely, I don't have any better ideas, so I'm kind of letting them do that while I'm doing whatever. So, I'd love to roll a perception.
Please do.
4.
4? Okay. I'm gonna check something really quick.
Oh, I just didn't see what's going on.
Keels over and dies all of a sudden.
I mean, not like that, but...
Dies standing up.
Coming your way? Bummer, dude.
So... Oh my god, do they have anything in... I seem to remember someone saying they had a passive of 14.
It would be I.
No one else has 14 or more?
13.
Oh, you out of 13. I was gonna say
Out of 13, almost.
Oh,
Okay.
damn, that's insane.
I was going to...
preoccupied.
You're more focused on the walls, and I still want to give you a little bit of stuff to that. You had seen this kind of scratchings and scribblings along the door next to the handle. And those are from kind of thin, sharpened nails that you'd expect kobolds to have. And as you wait for the rest of the group to kind of catch up to heading somewhere else or kind of making some sort of plan, you are looking at the walls and you can see these kind of like deep shades of gray, and you can see small bits, like flecks of brown stain kind of like moving up, like almost kind of pushed into the wall slightly. And then you kind of look above and down, and you can see more scratch marks along the sides of the walls. Thin, small, short. And some of them kind of trail upwards, as though a kobold had taken their hand, placed it on a wall, and then ran their hand upwards. And you kind of follow one of these as they kind of move upwards, and you can see a longer groove in the wall. either a kobold had managed to get such a jump to run their hand along nearly the top of this little tunnel, or there was a longer claw that had drug itself. And as you kind of look up at this feature, Ophelia, you hear this clicking sound. Almost the sound of like hard condensed like fingernail on stone. And you begin to kind of like look immediately around you. You look first down the hallway back where you had come from. You look kind of up behind you to the northern side. And then finally you look to the left as the other two are still looking at the symbol, unbothered. This piece of kind of looking at the wall, highlighted by whatever color of glow your dancing lights cause, is highlighted by that colored silhouette of a large form sprawled out on the ceiling above. You see these two long, highlighted limbs with different bits of spike coming out of it. You can see these, pulled back behind the back, almost like veiny looking wings that are pulled in like a butterfly that hasn't quite pulled out of a cocoon yet. A long tail, kind of similar to what you can use a xenomorph as like a visual reference, kind of snakes out and trails down towards the back of head. And a long pointed face with these glowing white eyes and a glow pulling from this blood-stained mouth, the white highlighting the red, and chunks of a scale kind of moving down the side of its face. As this creature looks poised and has rolled one blow on a stealth check, Ophelia, you notice the monster stalking you. And that's where we're going to end the session for tonight. With a creature in the dark. Well, well, well.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
I thought we were getting kobolds, bro. I thought we were gonna make friends.
There were
That's what I
kobolds.
thought.
There were kobolds down here.
We haven't even been gone that long. It's only been a few hours.
Oh, something's been busy. I wasn't lying when I said you guys ignoring half the sewer is a choice. You got to avoid this shit happening with kobolds still around.
And then we were curious.
You guys could have avoided this
Luck.
altogether.
First.
I know I could've, but like...
I'm sorry to ruin your kobold run.
Actually,
They're trying to say it's fine, but they're not.
On the
It's
bright
really
side, at least one of us caught the damn thing.
That's pretty fair, actually.
I'd send you the exact reference photo I'm using, but then one of you are gonna know what this thing is, and it's gonna ruin everything.
You mean James?
Well, no, I'm rather versed on fiends and demons too.
So, but thank you everybody so much for coming out. The lovely 6 people in front of you, thank you for joining me for this session. I was going... I gotta give credit where credit is due. Alpha, for not a single goddamn insight check the entire night.
That's
I had
really
no,
good.
I had no reason not to believe them because I don't know any better.
I
Oh, that's
am
really
happy to relinquish credit to you. MVP, my man.
Honestly, yeah.
Thank you.
Was the most. That shit was so fucking fun.
Very
I
good.
was,
me, it
I was
was-
so excited to see where it was gonna go to.
For
Like, I
me,
just
it was
figured
either
you'd give it a
Alpha,
shot.
it was fucking Cody, because to immediately be like, yeah, I'm just gonna lie to this freak.
Just gonna lie.
That's a stranger, dude. That's a different person. You
Zero
should introduce
hesitation.
yourself because that's a different
Yeah,
person.
that's
Introduce
that's a
yourself.
demon, dude. Like,
I
It's a whole
do...
thing.
No, Cody deserves his credit. It is very funny to just decide you're going to lie to another character. I have to give credit where credit is due to
Bold-faced
go
lie.
along with it. To go along with the
Accept
both.
the slot. They were leading
Hello.
into it too. Like you could have like figured something, but like he just chose not to. But Ophelia's just giggling up a storm, saying, "Look at what she did to me." He's just like, "Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe she would do that to you."
that shit made me
Yeah.
laugh so much.
I mean, you really had like every reason to insight. Like,
We were all laughing at you.
yeah,
But
laughing. I'm trying not to laugh while like you guys are right there. Like, you guys had every reason. You had every reason to insight and didn't, and it's hilarious.
It worked out great though. I can't wait to see the next one.
I'm going to continue to lie to you now.
I have to lie. It's my
we're
job.
gonna be like the last day of this campaign, and Val's gonna finally figure it out.
But thank you everybody so much for watching. If you're watching it live on Twitch, thank you so much. If you're watching the rerun on YouTube, thank you as well. If you made it this far and you're not following or you're not subscribed, please do. We love this game regardless, but we love to know that you're enjoying it as well. I will be seeing everyone here hopefully next week to find out what is stalking you in the sewers and how much can Mr. Inquisitor Creed drink as the 2 most absolutely harrowing encounters. A drinking contest and a fight with whatever that thing is are ready for next week. But until then, have a wonderful night. And I hope you all take care. Bye now.